Welcome to Change Nation, a program brought to you by First30Days.com. On this episode of Change Nation, Ariane talks with best-selling author Arielle Ford. Here's Ariane.
There's a lid for every pot, as the saying goes, and many people believe there's actually someone special out there, a soulmate, someone that is perfect for them. But how can you be so sure, if you're still single, maybe discouraged, that you can actually bring that new person into your life? Now, soon. According to Arielle Ford, it may just be as simple as asking the universe and connecting into a much more deeper energy, the law of attraction. Her new book, The Soulmate Secret, Manifest the Love of Your Life with the Law of Attraction, walks you through the 9 steps to do just that. On this episode of Change Nation, Arielle is here in the studio to talk with us about guiding principles so that you too can find a lasting and loving relationship. Arielle, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So let's define what a soulmate is. First and foremost, what is a soulmate and what is not a soulmate?
Well, I think we all what not a soulmate is. I mean, that's kind of easy. But a soulmate is someone with whom you have a deep and profound connection, someone you love unconditionally who also loves you unconditionally. And I know a lot of people think maybe there's only one soulmate out there, but I actually believe there are many kinds of soulmates. So for instance, I think Oprah and Gayle King are soulmates. They're best friend kind of soulmates, but I believe that kind of deep, unending connection is a soulmate connection. Years ago, you met my cat, JB. He was one of my soulmates. So I think we can have best friend soulmates, we can have parent-child soulmate relationships, and we can obviously have more than one. And the kind that I talk about mostly in The Soulmate Secret is the romantic partnership kind of soulmate.
What would you say to people who are listening to this and watching this that are discouraged? They've tried, they're listening to this as sort of their last sort of hope of what's possible. What would you tell them right off the bat?
Well, I would say to them, do you believe there's enough air for you to breathe? And do you believe there's enough water for you to drink? And if you do believe that, why wouldn't you believe there's enough love in the world for you? And the place to start is, yes, we've all been dumped and wounded and betrayed. And what I ask people to do is let's first focus on healing the wounds of our heart before we start making the list of what our soulmate looks like. So I believe big love is possible for anyone at any age, and it all starts with you need to get to belief.
So I want to talk through the 9 steps, but I first want to talk a little bit about your personal story, which I think is a beautiful example of what's possible. Why do you think it took you as long as it did to find this beautiful man that I've also personally met that is your soulmate? What did you do? What did you not do?
Well, what I didn't do was focus on finding a soulmate. I was very focused on my career. And I was very fortunate that in the mid-'80s, I had a therapist who gave me a little book called Key to Yourself. And I don't even think it's in print anymore. But it was all about the law of attraction and manifestation. So I took everything that I learned and I applied it to my career. And it was amazing. I mean, I started my first business with, 3 weeks into deciding I wanted to do it, and the money just appeared and it took off. And then I decided I was going to move to La Jolla and start a new business, and that took off. So I was able to take all these different manifestation tools and apply them to where I was living, what kind of friends I had, and my career. And it wasn't until I was in my early 40s that it suddenly dawned on me. It's like, wow, look how powerful I am. If I can do this with my career, imagine what I could do with my love life. And once I turned my attention to that, magic started to happen.
How long did it take when you finally started to turn your attention to when you actually attracted him? And I think there's a question about, well, I can believe this, but how long do I need to give it?
I think for me, it was really only 6 months. But of course, I was very ripe for it on a lot of levels. I no longer needed to put all my time and energy into my career. So I had the space, I had the mental space to focus. I was in a place in my life where I had gotten to that even if it never happened, I knew I was going to have a great life. I was having a great life. And I started to live as if he already existed in my life. So we're going to go through all the steps that I went through, but I got to a place of peace where I knew there was somebody out there. I knew that I was finally ready. I came out of the denial, because when I was 28, I was thinking, where is he? Where is he? He's so late. But the truth is, I was not ready at 28. But at 43, I was.
So let's talk about the 9th step. The first step is belief.
Yes, it's really about getting to a belief that there's somebody out there for you. And for me, the moment came when I was watching Oprah, of all things. And she had Barbra Streisand on as a guest, and Barbara was madly in love and newly engaged to James Brolin. And I had a light bulb moment. It was like suddenly I thought, wow, if the universe could find the perfect man for her, I should be a piece of cake. Because I'm thinking, okay, she's known as a diva, she's very famous and probably sheltered in the number of men that she meets, and how many men would be strong enough and rich enough and handsome enough for her. So I knew in that moment if there was somebody for her, not just a somebody, the perfect guy, then there was the perfect guy for me too.
What are the worst beliefs that maybe we're unconsciously running that are keeping that person away from us?
Oh, there's lots of them. I'm too old. I'm too fat, I'm too broke, I'm too unattractive. All the good ones are taken. That's a really popular one. Oh, all the good ones are taken. And that comes out of the misbelief that you have to know how and when you're going to meet them. Because if you really trusted that they were out there and that they were going to find you no matter what, you'd stop thinking about, well, where are they? I need proof that they're out there. You only need one. The time all this happened for me, I was working out of my house. I lived on top of a hill in a suburban area, and the only men I ever saw were the FedEx guy, the UPS guy, the Sparklets water guy, and the mailman, and they were all married. And so I would have these thoughts every once in a while, well, I'm never going to meet anybody here. I'm here all day long, all night long. And then I realized, you know what? It's not for me to know how or where or when. It's only for me to trust and believe that at the right moment, at the right time, it will happen.
When did you first meet Brian?
I met him at the Portland airport. It turned out that we had been working together, although we didn't realize that. I had an author that I was doing PR for up in Portland, Oregon, and he was a business partner to this man. And I went up to Portland to supervise a national TV shoot. And when I called the author's office and said, oh, could somebody pick me up at the airport? The guy on the phone, Brian, said, oh, I'll be happy to pick you up, no problem. Now, there were a lot of things that happened prior to that day, but we actually physically met at the Portland airport.
Wow, it's beautiful. So second step is readiness.
Right. You need to prepare yourself on all levels. So that means emotionally, if you need healing, if there are wounds, if you need therapy, go out and get it. I always say to somebody, if your soulmate could, witness your life right this second, would you be happy with the way that you look, with the way that your apartment or your condo or your house looks? So it's a matter of preparation. Get yourself ready.
What other parts of our life are most likely not ready? With people that you've observed, what are just not obvious things where you're like, you're not ready?
I know a lot of women who say, well, I'm not going to get new towels until I register for my wedding, and then I'm going to get beautiful towels. And I'm saying to them, why wouldn't you want to live with beautiful towels right now? What are you waiting for? What if this guy comes in and looks in your closet and you've got nothing but ratty old mismatched towels? And that may not be important to you. It was important to me. So you look at your life, have the dishes that you want to have. There are other things to register for, Look and see, is your house as beautiful, as welcoming as, you would like it to be if you knew they were going to knock on the door tomorrow.
Got it. Third, feathering the nest.
Well, that's the same thing, except it goes a little deeper. I really believe in feng shui. I've had a lot of proof in my life that it works. So you may want to bring a feng shui expert in to look and see where's the relationship corner of your house, and what can you do to enliven that area. It can be as simple as putting 2 pink candles in there, or if you like, Yadro sculptures, two doves or 2 lovebirds or a pair of something, or a frame of a happy couple walking down the beach where you just see them holding hands, you don't see their faces. Something that's representative to you of what you're striving for.